In the heart of Sukhumi, where the sea breeze meets the mountain air, lies the Sukhumi Botanical Garden, one of the oldest living landmarks of Abkhazia. Established in 1840 by a group of Russian botanists and naturalists, the garden was originally intended as a scientific station, a place where rare plants could be studied and cultivated in the unique subtropical climate of the Black Sea coast. But over the course of nearly 2 centuries, it has become far more than that. It has grown into a symbol of survival, a silent witness to the turbulent history of this land. Imagine strolling through its avenues. Towering eucalyptus trees from Australia sway gently in the wind, their scent mixing with the sweet fragrance of blooming magnolias from Asia. Ancient oaks stand side by side with exotic palms, while camellias, rhododendrons, and citrus trees add splashes of color throughout the seasons. Today, the garden hosts more than 5,000 plant species, gathered from nearly every corner of the world, a miniature Earth, cultivated within the borders of Abkhazia. But what makes this place truly extraordinary is not just its biodiversity, it is the way it has endured against the odds. During wars and political upheavals, the garden was burned, damaged, and in some periods almost abandoned. Yet, each time, it was revived. Local botanists, students, and ordinary citizens came together to restore what was lost, replant what had withered, and breathe life back into the soil. In many ways, the story of the garden mirrors the story of Abkhazia itself, scarred by conflict, yet always finding a way to bloom again. For the people of Sukhumi, this garden is not just a place to admire plants, it is a space of memory and belonging. Families gather under its shaded alleys, newlyweds pose for photographs beside its ancient trees, and children run freely along paths lined with flowers. Generations have grown up with this garden, treating it almost like a member of the community, a patient elder who has seen everything, yet still offers calm and beauty. Walking through the Sukhumi Botanical Garden today, you do not simply see plants. You feel history breathing through the leaves, resilience rooted in the soil, and the quiet message that even after devastation, life finds a way to return. It is a garden, yes, but also a monument to endurance, hope, and the timeless dialogue between nature and humanity. High in the Caucasus Mountains, surrounded by dense forests and snow-capped peaks, lies one of Abkhazia's most breathtaking natural wonders, Lake Ritsa. Resting at an altitude of nearly 950 meters, this alpine lake is often called the Blue Heart of Abkhazia because of its strikingly clear, deep waters that shift in color with the seasons, emerald green in spring, turquoise in summer, and a deep sapphire blue in winter. The story of Ritsa is not just one of natural beauty, but also of legend. Local folklore tells of a young girl named Ritsa, whose tragic fate gave the lake its name. According to the tale, she drowned while trying to escape enemies, and the gods, moved by her innocence, transformed the valley into a lake to preserve her memory forever. Even today, visitors say the waters hold a mysterious, almost sacred calm. Surrounding the lake are thick forests of boxwood, fir, and beech trees, some centuries old, where bears, lynxes, and wild boars still roam. In the crisp mountain air, travelers can hike along winding trails, explore hidden waterfalls, or simply stand on the shore and watch the reflection of the clouds ripple across the glassy surface. Historically, Ritsa was cherished not only by locals but also by Soviet leaders. Joseph Stalin had a summer residence built near the lake, a dacha that still stands today. It was here, in the silence of the mountains, that political figures once sought refuge from the noise of Moscow, finding peace in the same breathtaking views that now draw modern visitors. For Abkhazia, Lake Ritsa is more than a tourist attraction, it is a symbol of the land's pristine nature, a reminder of stories passed down through generations, and a place where the bond between people and landscape feels unbreakable. To stand before its waters is to witness both the timeless beauty of the Caucasus and the living soul of Abkhazia itself. Deep beneath the limestone mountains of Abkhazia lies a hidden world that feels almost otherworldly, the new Athos Cave. Also known as the Athos Cave, it is one of the largest karst caves in the entire Caucasus region, stretching for nearly 2 kilometers underground. Entering its vast chambers feels like stepping into the heart of the earth itself. The scale of the cave is astonishing. Inside, there are enormous halls, some so vast that they could fit entire city blocks within them. The largest of these chambers, the Hall of Apsny, measures over 100 meters wide and nearly 70 meters tall. Walking through it, you feel dwarfed by nature's architecture, colossal stalactites hanging like chandeliers from the ceiling and stalagmites rising like silent sentinels from the ground. Shaped by thousands of years of dripping water, discovered in 1961, the cave quickly became a place of fascination not only for scientists but also for travelers. What makes it unique is not just its sheer size, but also the surreal atmosphere inside. Underground lakes shimmer in the dim light, echoing the sound of dripping water, while stone formations take shapes that locals compare to castles, animals, and even mythological figures. Over time, New Athos Cave was developed into a destination accessible to the public. In 1975, a small underground railway was installed, carrying visitors deep into its core, a rare feature among caves worldwide. Even today, riding the electric train into the dark, echoing tunnels feels like a journey into an uncharted realm. For Abkhazia, the cave is not just a geological wonder, it is also tied to cultural identity. Nearby stands the new Athos Monastery, a sacred site of the Orthodox faith, and together, the cave and the monastery form a unique contrast, one representing the hidden power of nature, the other symbolizing the spiritual search for light. To explore New Athos Cave is to experience Abkhazia's dual spirit, the mystery of its untouched landscapes and the depth of its human history. Few places in the world can combine natural majesty and cultural meaning so seamlessly, making this cavern not just a tourist attraction, but a living symbol of the unseen beauty that lies beneath the surface of Abkhazia. On the shores of the Black Sea, surrounded by pine forests and the sound of crashing waves, stands one of Abkhazia's most remarkable historical landmarks, the Pitsunda Cathedral. Built in the 10th century during the reign of King Bagrat III, it is a masterpiece of medieval architecture that has survived for more than 1,000 years. From the outside, the cathedral's design is simple yet majestic, with thick stone walls and a towering dome that rises above the town of Pitsunda. Inside, however, visitors are greeted by breathtaking frescoes dating back to the Middle Ages, their faded colors still echoing the artistry of Byzantine influence. The walls tell biblical stories through images, while the high arches create an atmosphere that feels both solemn and timeless. The cathedral is not just an architectural treasure, it also carries deep cultural and spiritual meaning. For centuries, it was the religious heart of the region, serving as the seat of the Catholicos of Abkhazia, the head of the local church. Pilgrims traveled from far and wide to pray within its sacred walls, and the sound of church bells once carried across the sea breeze, uniting the community in faith. One of the cathedral's most unique features is its incredible acoustics. Even the softest whisper or the faintest hymn resonates throughout the vast interior, filling the space with an almost otherworldly echo. Today, concerts of sacred music are sometimes held here, allowing visitors to experience how sound itself becomes part of the cathedral's spiritual aura. Despite wars, invasions, and centuries of change, the Pitsunda Cathedral has remained standing, a symbol of endurance, much like the Abkhaz people themselves. To walk inside is to step into 1,000 years of history, where faith, art, and architecture merge into one. It is not simply a monument of stone, but a living testament to the resilience of culture on the Black Sea coast. High in the Caucasus Mountains, far from the coastal towns, lie the remote villages of Abkhazia, places where ancient traditions and spiritual practices have been preserved for centuries. Here, life follows the rhythm of the mountains, and the connection between people and nature is not just cultural but sacred. In these villages, many rituals are tied to the belief that the mountains, rivers, and forests are alive, inhabited by spirits that both protect and test the community. Families often gather at sacred groves, where prayers are offered beneath towering oak or beech trees believed to be centuries old. These sites are considered so holy that no axe or plow is ever allowed to touch them, and people approach them with quiet reverence. One of the most important traditions is the celebration of seasonal festivals, where villagers give thanks for harvests, livestock, and protection from misfortune. During these ceremonies, offerings of bread, cheese, honey, and sometimes wine are placed on stone altars, and elders lead prayers asking for health, prosperity, and peace. What makes these rituals unique is their blend of ancient pagan roots and later Christian influences, creating a spiritual culture unlike anywhere else in the Caucasus. Music and dance are also central to these gatherings. The sound of the ayuma, a traditional Abkhaz string instrument, echoes through the valleys, while groups perform circular dances that symbolize unity and harmony with nature. These performances are not merely entertainment but a form of prayer, a way to keep the community in balance with the world around them. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect is how these traditions have survived despite centuries of political upheaval and modernization. In the mountains of Abkhazia, rituals are still passed down orally from generation to generation. Children learn not only the words of prayers but also the gestures, the songs, and the deep respect for the natural world that sustains them. To witness such a ceremony is to see the soul of Abkhazia revealed, a culture where faith, nature, and community intertwine, reminding us that in these mountains, spirituality is not confined to churches or temples, but lives in every river, every tree, and every shared moment among the people.